Hello there, Photoshop users. Welcome to my site and welcome to this video tutorial. This one's going to cover the levels command in Photoshop. Now, the reason I'm doing that is that I'd recently sent someone to my site to check out the levels video on the tutorial page. Well, turns out I'd never done a levels video on my tutorial page, and that was kind of embarrassing. So I am here to fix that egregious oversight today and give you a levels video because it's a cool command. Now, you may have noticed if you're a Photoshopper of any experience that this looks like an older version of Photoshop. Well, you're right. It's Photoshop CS2. And the reason I'm using it is twofold. First of all, the desktop machine that I normally use is making such a terrible buzz with the audio that nobody would watch the video because they just wear their ears right out. It'd be like gravel in your ears. Yuck. So I'm doing it on my laptop. Secondly, my laptop has CS2 on it because I guess 2 months ago, my buddy Terry over there in the UK told me that Adobe has a free download of the Creative Suite 2, CS2. And that included everything if you wanted it, or just a couple. So I got Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign, and they all went onto my laptop. And I guess they did that because you can't upgrade from CS2 to anything. So you can't get CS2 for free and then spend a small amount to upgrade to the latest version. You can only go back 3 versions. I know that because I tried to upgrade CS2 and I wasn't aware of it, and I called Adobe and they said, oh no, you can only go back 3 versions. So that's why CS2 is here, and I'm using my laptop with my Camtasia Studio on there, and we're going to explore the levels command. Now, you can do levels in a variety of different ways. You can come over here to the image menu, adjustments, levels, or auto levels. Auto levels is maybe where a lot of people go just, okay, I don't want to have to figure this out, so I can use auto levels. Well, that's how much change you get. That was nothing. I wouldn't bother with that. Okay, I'm gonna undo it. I'm gonna undo nothing, basically. Levels on the background. I don't like doing that just because it messes up the background. So I'm gonna go to the layers palette and put an adjustment layer for levels on there. Now the first thing you see is the histogram. The histogram is kind of clumped all here in the middle, where it should be spreading from here to here in a fairly representative sine wave kind of configuration. So it should start here and kind of head up and go across the top and back down again and end up here. Well, you can see it's not. Everything's clumped in the middle. So that tells you got really a low contrast image, which if we look at it, it's true. There's one dark area, one really black area, and that's at top of the bill, and one really white area to the back, and everything else is kind of mid-toning, and it's just not a very interesting photograph. So what we do with the levels is we stretch out this histogram. You stretch it out by moving these sliders in till they touch the edges. So let's see what that does. So I'm going to drag this one over. Look at that, huh? So it is increasing the amount of shadow detail or dark detail. And that is a big difference. Immediately that makes the thing better. Look at that, huh? That's good. So let's follow the same theory and work this one. This is the highlights. And we're going to just drag it across the beginning. Well, no, that's not very good, is it? Yeah, that doesn't work. So let's take this one back out again. See, the thing about all these adjustments, now this one looks too dark to me, about all these adjustments is you do them until you're happy. People can give you recipes for certain things and say it always has to be this. No, it has to be what makes you happy because it's your picture and it's your edit and you do what makes you happy. Because what makes you happy, I may think is awful, and what I think is awful, or I think is wonderful, you may think, my God, this guy doesn't know anything. So that's the way you do it. You make yourself happy. So let's just start bringing this one over a little bit. We don't have to go very far with it. And there we go. That's probably okay. And we could say that's our image up to this point. So let's click OK, and we'll turn it off and on. That is a big difference. Now I'm going to show you something else too. We're going to go back out here and out here. Now, clipping. I don't know if you've ever heard the word clipping when it talks about a photograph, but it means that you've lost any detail in either the black or the white area of your photograph. And I can find out where this thing is going to start to clip by holding down the Alt key or the Option key if you're on a Mac, and then dragging this across. And as soon as I hit the shadows, it turns the whole thing to white. The first time a pixel shows up, it means it's clipped. So there's some right here, and by gosh, of course it's right. It's in this black area above the bill. Well, I don't care so much about that because I don't care if there's detail there. So I'm just going to keep pulling it over. And now you can see that some of the clipping is occurring in this shadow. I don't care about that either. So that is fine. And I'm just going to do it till I like it. Now let's go to the other end and do the same thing. I press the Alt key, grab this, it turns black. As soon as you start seeing some of the colors going, you know it's starting to clip. And right there, and that area just happens to be on the back here, on the back of this one. And you can see that's really brilliant. So that's what clipping is, and that's how you can find out. Now if we have another photograph, which we do, you can play around with that. Now the other thing I can do is I can mess with the midtones. And normally the midtone is sitting at 1.00, and I can go just a little bit. Now I've taken it down to 0.93, and that's okay. Okay, so we've got a much better shot now. Doing and doing. Okay, so what about this dirty neck on this bird? Can Levels get rid of it? Nope, can't get rid of it. But a soft light layer dodge and burn can. So I'll show you how to do that, and that's on another video as well. But this is a nice little review, and this is such a cool technique. It should be looked at a lot. So I'm going to press the Alt key, and I'm going to tap on this new layer icon. This works in every version of Photoshop. Bing, and it brings up the new layer, and you can a dialog, and you can choose the one you want. So I'm going to go to Soft Light. I'm going to fill it with 50% gray. I'm going to change its name to Dodge and Burn. Whoops, I suppose I should spell it right? Dodge and Burn. There we go. So what it's got is a 50% gray in here, covering the picture, so you don't see any difference. And the way I make a difference is I choose the foreground, background colors to be black and white. And if they're not, you hit the D key to do that. And then I get the white to the front by hitting the X key. Make sure white is your foreground. Now I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to check on my brushes palette and just see what. Let's see what we got here. On CS2, other dynamics means opacity. On CS5 and 6, this has been changed from other dynamics to transfer. They still didn't spell opacity right. They spelled it with a T. I don't know how they do that, but that's Adobe. Now, if you tap on the word, you get all this stuff here. And the control has to be set to pen pressure. Well, it doesn't have to be, but if you've got a pen and a tablet, you want it on pen pressure, because then you can change the opacity dynamically by pressing harder or lighter on your brush. Okay, so I'm just going to dock this back to the palette well, and now I'm ready to go. So if I press just very lightly, I get just a bit of dodging, and got the head cleaned up there. And this area is, I've done this a few times. I've had many takes on this video, so I know where the problem areas are. And this time I'm going to try and keep from going into the water with my pen. Okay, there we go. So there I've dodged and burned the neck a bit. And I suppose I could change that. I haven't tried this yet, but we can maybe add a bit of burning on the background. No, it's not changing much. It did at the front there, but I think we've clipped right in the middle. But you can see I've made some changes there. And I guess that would be the shadow. There is no sunlight on this day. So double tap on the hand icon, and that's our picture now. So I'm going to press the Alt key and I'm going to tap on the background and go to the original. That's the original. And this is the adjusted. And if you want, you can just turn them off and on as you go. This one's with the levels off and on, and this is with the dodge and burn off and on. So that's what you can do with levels. It's a really great command. Okay, see what else we can do with it. I've got a couple more on here that are hidden in the background. Okay, this was a picture I took years ago. I took it with my black and white film. I printed it in my darkroom and I found it, the print, a couple years ago. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to fiddle around with this. Now this is the original. This is how it's scanned with all this crap on it. And I did some work and got it to that. Now I'm not sure how I managed to get the background. I guess I must have done it backwards because I did all the healing and stuff on the background, and the background copy's got all the bad stuff on it. So I don't know, man, that's weird. Anyways, we're going to add a levels on here. Levels adjustment layer, boing. And you can see this histogram is quite a bit different from the other one. A lot in the midtones, not much in the dark. They're really dark. So I can just bring that over to the beginning. And not much in the highlights, so we're going to bring this one over to the beginning. Okay. So now there's our corrected, so to speak. That made a big difference right away. Double tap here. Maybe take this in a bit. The midtones. So I'm adding some midtone. I'm darkening the midtones. So it's giving a bit more contrast in the midtones. And that is much more interesting now. It was certainly interesting when I took the shot, but this is only demonstration purposes. You don't have to love the picture. Okay, so that made a big difference. That made a big difference. And if I, here's another little thing I found out. If I go back and do the adjustment, especially on this side, with the Alt key down, I can find all the places that I didn't do the cleaning up correctly. See there, those dots? Right there, right in this area. If I zoom in closely, I discover that I didn't do the cloning or the spot healing very well, and I still have some spots in there that need cleaning. You see, right at the border of this dark thing and this light thing. The light thing being the sky, I guess, or the ocean. I'm not sure. I guess it's the ocean, and the dark thing being the top of the lighthouse. So it shows me I still have some work to do. Anyways, that's beside the point. I wanted to show you that it works beautifully with the black and white. Okay, now we got this flower too. Oh, the flower. This pretty flower, which is in fact a weed. It's a weed's flower, and it's got a fly on it. So it's not the most appealing thing. Let's get it back out. I got it full screen just by double tapping on the hand tool. That's how you get it full screen. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this end. Levels. Oh, there we go. You can see this one is clumped in the dark end, the shadow end. Not too much in the highlights. So let's just bring this across. Right up to the bottom right here. And we'll bring this edge across just to where it's starting to rise. And maybe bring this in. And there we go. So that took less than a minute, and I've improved the contrast, I've improved the color, and the saturation. So this is a great command. You need to know how to use it and have fun with it. So there's before. It didn't look bad before, but once you do levels, it looks kind of okay. So there you go. That's the levels command with all its funny little derivations. So what you need to do now is run off to get your flat prints that don't look very good, or your flat pictures, and try the levels command on them. Play with it. Get to know it. I use this one first before anything all the time. It's just so easy to use. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate so much that you came by and watched this video. And if you came in through my site, stick around for a while. There's other things here. If you came in through YouTube, there's a link to my site here someplace, okay? So thank you very much, and have yourself a great day, and have fun with your editing. Bye now.